6 weeks. That is how long a family in an ordinary suburb of Brisbane or Perth can wait, in the worst stretches, to get a licensed plumber to fix a leaking hot water system or a blocked main. Not a luxury renovation, a basic repair on the thing that brings clean water into the house and carries the waste away. The trade that built modern Australian public health, the trade that helped beat typhoid and cholera in our cities a century ago, has thinned out to the point where the simple act of getting a tap fixed has become a waiting game. The people who work in the building game already feel this. A plumber who once took a job the same week now books a fortnight out, sometimes longer, in the growth corridors of the big capital. And the workforce holding the trade together is ageing. Across the construction trades, the picture is stark. The building regulator reported in late 2025 that the average age across licensed classes had crept up toward 49 years, with workers under 30 making up only about 6 in every 100 licensees. The young face on the van is rare, the grey one is common. How did a country with some of the highest paid plumbers in the developed world end up unable to find one? The answer is not laziness, and it is not the weather. It is a set of decisions made over more than 30 years that quietly dismantled the way Australia turned ordinary teenagers into skilled tradespeople, and then patched the gap with imported labour until that supply line strained too. The place the trade was meant to be learned tells much of the story. For most of the 20th century, a school leaver signed indentures and spent 4 years beside a licensed plumber while attending the local technical college 1 day a week. He learned the trade by hand and by drawing. The Dawkins reforms of 1988 began folding the technical college system into a near doubled university sector, and a cultural message went out with it. The degree became the respectable path, and the trade was cast as the option for those who could not manage one. TAFE took over the training, and from the mid-1990s it was put through round after round of contestable funding and budget tightening. Campuses closed, class sizes grew. The slow, supervised craft of teaching a young person to sweat a copper joint cleanly was treated as a cost to be trimmed. Consider what that craft actually involves. A plumber learns the work by watching how much flux to wipe on before the heat goes in, by learning the smell of the joint just before the solder draws, by learning that you never trust a fitting you have not tested. He learns the way a drain falls, the gradient that lets gravity do the work so the line does not block in 2 years. None of that comes from a screen. It comes from years standing next to someone who already knows, on real jobs, in real trenches, in the rain. When the training system was hollowed out, the pipeline of patient apprenticeships narrowed with it. The way the work itself was organised changed shape too. The old model put an apprentice on the books of a firm that carried him through the lean times because it expected to keep him for decades. The subcontractor and Australian business number model replaced that loyalty with hire and let go labour. A young bloke could be put on as a casual, used hard while the work was there and dropped when it was not, with no obligation to see his training through. Carrying an apprentice for 4 years costs money and patience, and a contractor surviving job to job often cannot afford either. So the apprentice never gets taken on, the skill never gets passed down, and the older plumber retires with no one behind him. The numbers broadly track what the job sites show, though the picture is more mixed than the gloom suggests. Apprenticeship commencements across the trade swelled while pandemic-era wage supports were in place, then fell back sharply once those supports were wound down. Completion has long been the weaker link. National Vocational Education Research published at the end of 2025 found that for people who began an apprenticeship or traineeship around 2019, only a little over half saw it through. with trade completion sitting in the low to middle 50s. For every handful who start, a large share never finish. Many leave for the mines, for driving, for anything that pays now rather than in 3 or 4 years. Dissatisfaction with pay, conditions or the workplace was the single most common reason trade apprentices gave for walking away. Now here is the part worth sitting with. The shortage did not arrive dressed as low pay. It arrived as the opposite. Plumbing sits among the better paid trades in the country, and that high pay is not a sign of a healthy trade. It is the market signalling that there are not enough of them. When a fitter can name his price and still turn work away, the system that should be feeding new tradespeople in has already stumbled. For years, the gap was partly hidden by people arriving from somewhere else. Australia leaned on skilled migration to fill holes its own training system had stopped filling. But the country also lost people in the other direction. In the years of upheaval after 2019, the working population churned hard. Borders closed, then reopened. Temporary visa holders left, and many did not come back. The official migration figures show the scale of the movement. In the 2024 to 2025 year alone, migrant departures rose to around 263,000 people, up from about 232,000 the year before, with temporary visa holders making up the bulk of those leaving. Tens of thousands of skilled workers have moved through that revolving door, and plumbing felt every turn of it. When a workforce is built on people who can leave, no one should be surprised when they do. Migration was never going to be the whole fix in any case. A plumber trained overseas has to have his qualifications recognised and meet state licensing before he can legally connect a gas line or sign off on drainage. That process is slow and uneven across the states. In Queensland, for instance, all regulated plumbing and drainage work must by law be carried out by a licensed plumber or drainer, a rule that exists precisely to protect health and property. So even when the bodies arrive, the licensed, ready to sign off plumber, the one allowed to do the regulated work, remains scarce. The country imported labour, but could not simply import the licence. There is an honest bright spot worth naming, because the decline is not total, and the data refuses to be one note. Across the whole economy, the share of occupations in shortage actually eased between 2024 and 2025, falling to under a third of those assessed. Trade completion rates, far from collapsing, have been edging up in recent years, even as non-trade results soften. The plumbers who do finish their training are highly sought and well looked after, and some group training schemes and larger firms have started rebuilding proper apprenticeship pathways because the shortage finally bites their own bottom line. The trade is not dead. It is starved, and starvation can be reversed faster than death if the will is there. But understand what the wait actually costs, because it is more than inconvenience. Picture a burst pipe behind a wall and no one available for weeks. That means water damage, mould, a family bathing children in a kitchen sink. It means an elderly couple in a regional town living with a failed hot water system through a cold snap, because the nearest available plumber is a long drive and a long wait away. It means landlords leaving repairs undone and tenants living with it. The plumber is not a luxury trade. He is the reason a modern house is safe to live in. And when he is not there, the house quietly becomes less safe. What would it mean to lose this trade for good? The shortage feeds the cost of everything built. A house cannot be signed off without its drainage, its water and its gas. So when there are not enough licensed tradespeople to rough in and fit off the plumbing, the build stalls. Holding costs climb. The price of that delay lands in the final price of the house. A young family wondering why a new home costs what it does is paying, in part for a trade that was allowed to wither. If any of this rings true, if you remember when a plumber came the same day and stayed on the books of a firm that trained him properly, consider subscribing before the next part, because this is the channel keeping that memory honest. What was lost here is not just a job title, it is a path. There was once a clear road for a practical young person who was good with the hands and did not want a desk. Leave school at 16, sign on, learn a regulated, respected, well-paid trade, and stand on your own 2 feet by 21. That road was paved by the technical college, by the firm that carried its apprentices, by a culture that thought making and fixing things was honourable work. Each of those was weakened by a separate decision, and together they narrowed the road to a track. 3 things are worth holding on to. The shortage was made, not suffered. It came from cutting the training, breaking the apprenticeship and leaning on a migrant workforce that could leave. The high wage is the warning light, not the cure. And the long wait for a tradesperson is the bill, handed to ordinary households for choices made in offices a generation ago. The encouraging part is that some of those choices are now being reversed, slowly, by the firms and schemes putting apprentices back on the books. The question worth sitting with is whether a country can call itself developed when a family struggles to get clean water restored to the house for the better part of a month. Australia solved that problem 100 years ago. It risks unsolving it now, one unfilled apprenticeship at a time. If you served your time in the trade, or you remember the day a plumber came the same morning you rang, leave a comment with the year you started and the town you worked in. Those memories will get a reply, and they matter more than any statistic. Tell the story. While the people who lived it are still here to tell it. This was a quiet thing, taken without anyone voting for it. Naming how it happened is the first step to it not happening to the next trade as well. Subscribe to Old Australia.